Right, grade 10. We're going to do variables and constants. We're going to use page 58 of your green practical textbooks, not the electronic version, the books that you took home. Page 58, activity 12, number 3. We won't do the TOE chart now, we're going to just do the program. And here is the interface. I will give you the data files on Google Classroom. So, what does it look like? Well, the instructions read that enter the name and the average grade 12 mark. Yes, you're going to pretend you're in grade 12 now. Next year you're going to go to university. It'll be very short time before that happens. Don't worry. Time's going to fly. So, inputs are the name of the student, the grade 12 mark. And then we have these 3 buttons here. In the instructions it says, if the person clicks on distinction button, we're going to decrease the class fee by 10%. Now the class fee is a fee of $25,000 per year for all students. And that is going to be a constant. So yes, we're talking about variables and constants here in this program. So that button for just says 2 more distinctions. If the user clicks on it, then 10% is taken off that class fee. The residence, if the user clicks on that, then 50,000 Rand must be added to their total amount to pay. And if they have a bursary, then 80% of the total amount to pay will be taken off. Now you have to read very carefully there, because for distinctions you take off 10% for birth of the fee, of the class fee, which is 25,000. For bursary you take 80% off the total amount that has been accumulated so far. So that is the tricky part. And what we must think about is what variables are we going to use, and what are we going to do with that class fee. Now that is where a constant comes in. You know that fees always go up every year. So for starting off, we are going to make sure we have a constant, so that the programmer can change the fee with one little instruction instead of going through the whole program and changing it, because we have to work with the 25,000 Rand class fee for everybody regardless. So we're going to do that. We're going to make a constant, which will be easy for the programmer, you, to change, and we put it up top here. Do you see where in this interface section? Here's the interface. Just before our public or global variables here. This is where I normally put it. You can put it in underneath the private section there, but we're going to put it over here just to start off with, so you know constants can be declared anyway in button clicks, but we're making it global constant so that the programmer can change it in one place. So what are we going to call it? Fee. Why not? Fee equals 25,000. And just because it's money, you don't put a rand in front of it. You don't put an R in front there. It's a number, and that is what it will be. This word fee is going to be 25,000. Wherever you use the word fee in the rest of our program, that'll be the number that it will hold. So let's go back. We've made a constant. Now we know what that means. Right. Now the total to pay is going to be changed. When we run the program, we want that 25,000 Rand to be displayed there. Okay, to start off with. And the person types their name, they type into their mark, and we want the 25,000 Rand to be displayed there when the program starts. When we run it like such. Okay, when you press the run button, we want it to be set up. The person's going to type their name there, put the number there, and then we want 25,000 must be automatically already be displayed. So how do we do that? Well, easy. We go to the onActivate event. How do we do that? I showed you. We go and click on the form, This is the form, see? We can go here in the structure section, click on that form there, go to events, and on activate, just click your mouse in that area, double click, and there you have your form activate event, and that is where we're going to display on this panel. The panel is called PNL total fee. So I'll say PNL total fee dot caption. Remember, I'm going to make it equal to the previous caption. What is the previous caption before we change it? It is total fee. We want to keep that there, so we make sure that we're going to join the total fee on the end of that. We've got to have a space. See, I'm joining a space there to the original caption. The new caption is going to be the original caption plus a space plus fee. Now fee is a monetary value and we want to make it look like money, so I'm going to say float to string F and put in the word fee there, comma, FF currency, comma 8, comma 2. 8 refers to the total number of digits that we want displayed. 2 is the number of decimal points. It will round off as well. Very useful. And this is the structure. You must just study that and memorize it. If you want to take a real number, we can assume it's a real number, even though it looks like an integer there, but it doesn't matter. We can act like a real number for now. So we say float to string, and then that F means we are formatting that real number, and then we have to add this and that and that. So if you want to say float to string F, you've got to add these 3 extra parameters in the brackets. F means format. You can have FF fixed or FF currency. Those are the 2 that we use often. Right, so when you run the program, what's going to happen? There it is, nicely formatted and looking pretty. Right, now the button for 2 or more distinctions. Well, we've got to take the 25,000 and subtract 10% from it, because we have to decrease the class fee. The class fee is that 25,000. But the problem is we have to have a total to pay. So a running total is going to be, every time we click a button, there's a running total that has to be changed. Now, because we are going to change a number with every click of the button, why we have to change a number? Well, it makes sense, because when you click on residence, you want to add 50,000 and display it over there. I forgot to mention, when you read carefully, you'll see that this panel has to be updated each time we click a button. In other words, the total fee that changes must be put there in the panel. Each time we click a button, a new number must be put in next to total fee. In order to do that, we need to calculate the total fee each time we click a button, and we'll need a variable to do that. And because it's all based on button clicks, we need a global variable that's going to change each time. So a global variable needs to be created so that each time we click this button, that global variable can change. And at the same time, we display it over there in the panel. So I'm going to make a global variable. I'm going to call it, I'm going to put my global variable here. Okay, there are other places you can put it. I'm not going to talk about that now. So I'm going to call it R for real to pay. Sort of how much to pay, How much money are we going to pay at the end of the day? So I'm going to make a variable R to pay, which is going to change each time we click the button. That's why you have to make it global, because there's a whole lot of methods, 1, 2, 3 of them, that it's going to use that one global variable. It has to change each time we click the button. That's why we make it global. Right, so 2 or more distinctions. So what we're going to do if we have that button, we're not calculating distinctions. It's a bit misleading. It just means distinctions. Do you want to give a discount on distinctions? So if we are, then 10% is going to go off total fee. Just one little thing. When we have the R to pay, we need to initialize it to something. Why? Because we're going to change it each time, and I want to initialize it to whatever that amount is, the constant, so that we know that we're going to have R to pay is going to change each time we click the button. But it's going to start off with the constant value of 25,000, because each student has to pay that amount initially. I mean, that's going to be the starting point. So on Activate, I'm going to, why? I'm doing it there because it's a good place. R to pay, I'm going to make it equal to fee, the constant. I'm setting it up to equal whatever the constant is, which is 25,000 Rand. Obviously next year maybe it'll go up, you know. And I only have to change it once. There. Anyway, why did I put that there? Well, because when I click the button, the R to pay is going to change. And then I must display R to pay over here in my panel. Each time I click the button, the change that happens to it must be displayed in total fee. So let's do the first one. This one is a 10% off. Right. So I'm going to calculate what that 10% is. And here's another problem what we have with this. You might think this is not an easy program. If you read further in the question, it says that when we click the register button, this one over here, we want to display everything. We're going to display the name, display the grade, display that amount, display the residence amount, display the bursary amount. Those amounts have to be displayed. And we have to display them in this register button click event. So therefore that means we're going to have to use global variables for all those three, because in the register student we have to display those three variables in this component. It looks like a rich edit, doesn't it? It's actually a memo. Never mind, works just like a rich edit. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, register student button, if you read the instructions, says that you must display each one of those discounts or adding ons, those three. We have to display them individually. So that adds a little bit of extra work, but it's not a problem. All we need to do then is make three more global variables for these three amounts. Because each time we click the button, we're going to calculate amounts for those things and take them off or add them to the total to pay. So here I'm going to make more global variables. R distinction for distinct. I like to make them short and sweet. R res for residence fee, and the R bursary. These are real numbers. I'm going to keep safe with real numbers. Why? Because you know that when we do percentages like 10% or 80% of something, you will have a real number resulting. So we're not going to play with integers here at all, even though this fee looks like an integer. We know when you do calculation, we're going to convert to we want to display it as currencies, better just keep it real. So there we are, three real variables that we're going to use to store these amounts. So let's do the first one. Two or more distinctions. That is 10% off. So then I'm going to say my R dist will be equal to, but you must look very carefully in the reading. Is it 10% of the R to pay, or is it 10% of the class fee? Well, the class fee is here. It says fee equals, actually I should have called it class fee. Hey, let's call it class fee. Class fee, okay, that means I must change it here. On class fee. And here. So we change it to class fee so we know, it really is the class fee. And distinction is supposed to be 10% of the class fee. So we say R class fee times 10 divided by 100. Good thing we made R distinct a dist. R dist, the distinction is a real number. Good thing, because we are dividing. Right, now we need to calculate our R to pay. You're going to take 10% off it. So what do is we're changing R to pay, so with a new R to pay is equal to the old R to pay, which could be 25,000 or could be something else even. And then we subtract the distinction R dist from it. So, what are we going to do next? Well, we still have to display the distinction in the memo, but we only do that in the register button. So I don't actually have to do anything else here for now. We'll leave it like that. We've calculated the distinction discount, and we are subtracting it from the global variable R to pay, which was set at the class fee before we did anything. So before you run the program, before you click on, no, not before you run the program, before you click on anything, when you run the program, before you click, we had that total fee there, and we know that it's also R to pay. And when we click this button, that's what we forgot. We have to display the new total fee after clicking this button. We have to display it on the panel. This little panel, it's a panel. So let's go and do that. So I'm going to say panel total fee dot caption equals. Now here is the trick. See, I'm copying and pasting. It helps a lot. So here is the trick. If we say the new caption is going to be the old caption and join that to this, what's going to happen is, well, remember in form activate, that caption, what happened? Let's run the program and see. On activate, displays that. If I put this in, see what it's doing? I can even make that panel larger and I'll show you. Let's do that. Oops, let's do that. Okay, run the program and click on that. See, didn't really work, did it? And also there's something else wrong. I'm supposed to say R to pay here. R to pay. The distinction button, click this one, and you see the new R to pay has been decreased by that amount, and I've got to go and display it there because I copied and pasted. So that's the only problem with copying and pasting. But as you can see, the old caption was kept. So what's the old caption? There it is. If I click the button, we don't want both those numbers there. Nope. So all we have to do is we're going to have to just, there's no other way out of it. We're going to do this. Total fee, colon, space. There we go. Right, that's done. Now, let's go and see what the next one is. Residence. Double click residence. And residence means that they're going to add 50,000 Rand to our R to pay. But I do have to say RRes, I've got to set it because the only problem is we have to take this number and display it later on. That RRes has to be displayed. Then we can go and add it to our R to pay. And then we have to update our caption. See, copy and paste. Pretty neat. It's your friend. Copy and paste is your friend here in programming. Saves you time in exams. Alright, so res. When they click the res button, we say res is 50,000. And then we add that to the amount to pay and we display the amount to pay. That's that done. Next one, bursary. Double click that. Right, so our burs. There's our global variable. Remember we had to make these global variables because we have to use them later for displaying. And our bursary is 80% off. It's quite a lot. Our will be our 80% off the amount to pay. And then we go, or we calculate what it is, and then we take it off our amount to pay. And then we also display the total fee in our panel. So it's running total on the panel. Done, done, done. 3 done. Just one thing about rdist, rburs, and rres. When you see these global variables, well, could be a good idea to set them to naught in onActivate. Rs and rdist. Right, how did I get onActivate? Well, I saw it there. The other way, obviously you click on the form, you make sure you've got those square boxes around. There's one there. Go to the events, or if you really don't know, just click on FRM, the form there. Double click on activate. There you have it. So we've initialized those to zeros. Global variables, real numbers, you can make them naught. Now we're going to go to our next button. It says register student, and we have to display the name, the grade, etc., 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 a whole lot of stuff. So let's do it. Register student, we have to display in the memo, and the memo is called mem student. It works just like a rich edit. .lines, .add, and the first thing is the name of the person. Name, colon, space. Always have to make a space so it looks neat. And the name comes from EDT name. Now we're not going to do anything else with that name, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Didn't make a variable to store the name. Didn't have to, because I'm just using it straight from the input there. And the same with the grade 12 mark. And copying and paste to save time. Mark and EDT mark. Then we have to put in the other things, and the other things are the distinction and that's going to be float to string f, r distinct, dist, ff currency, comma 8, comma 2. Right, so there it is. Simple as that. And then I'm going to copy and paste that line so I can go and put in the next one, which is the residence. Res. And then I'm going to copy and paste that line. And then we'll put in the what's the other one? Bursary. Burst, take notes. You've got to make sure you change your variable names there. Right, next thing. They also want us to put in the total to pay. Right. Total to pay. R to pay. R to pay. See how good you have to name your variables so that you know what you're doing. So R to pay is there. Now a value of naught will be displayed. So these global variables, we set them to naught, but by the way, global variables will always automatically be naught, but it's a good idea to go and set them to naught if they're global, whether or not they're global. If you're going to add things to them, change them, set them to naught first, your integers and real numbers. Right, initialize. So there we go. Initialize them. Next thing is to. Well, that was simple. Copy and paste helped a lot there. We're now going to go to our new student. What's going to happen to the new student? Well, we're going to clear that, set the focus there, clear that, and clear this. But that's not the only thing that we can do. If you're going to register a new student, we have all those global variables we must reset. All of these we don't change. You don't change class fee. Only if, like, next year it's up like 5,000, maybe 30, then you just change it there. But these variables here, we have to set them all, we initialize them all just like we did in the form activate event. So let's go and do that in register student. Easy part, we'll do the easy part first, okay? We'll clear that and that and that and that. Right, so, oops. Oh no, why is register click? Oh, done register. Sorry, I double click new student. Double click new student. Okay, so it's mem student. How do we clear a memo or a rich edit? Just do dot clear. Edit box, edt name dot clear. Another one, edit mark dot clear. We will need to set the focus to the name edit box. Now what else? Oh, the panel. Let's make sure the panel is this. What we used in the onActivate event, we took the class fee and we put it in the panel, not so? Class fee was that constant. So let's go and display that in the panel. And the other thing that we have to do, we have to go and initialize our three little variables there, copying and pasting here. And while I'm about it, I'll go and initialize my amount to pay, or to pay, sounds like something else, or to pay, initializing that to the class fee, because that everyone has to pay that, and then that's going to be naught. Those are all going to be back to naught for a new student. So let's go and try this and see. Okay, running the program. Type in the name of the student. Enter the grade mark, clever student. Take note, that's there. 2 or more distinctions. Can you see that's gone down? Residence, that's going to go up. Bursary, total fee. Oh my word, is that really right? Let's check it out. Yeah. If that is 80%, the residence and the distinction, let's go and see what's happening. New student. We're going to try, let's close and see. Right, so the bursary, we took off 80%. Do you see my calculation wasn't right there? It was supposed to be R to pay times by 80%. How stupid can you get? I mean, I'm stupid, sorry. So the bursary is the amount to pay times 80%, and that's what I did wrong. And I just have to take that bursary off. So let's run it down, see? Okay, Jane. Okay, mark's gone down a bit. She made a mistake. 2 more distinctions. 10%'s gone off. Residence, added 50,000. Bursary, that's better. Register student, there it is. Alright, so that student's only going to pay that amount. New student, John. He's clever. Let's say he's only getting, actually he should get a bursary or a distinction, eh? So, residence, yes, and 2 more distinctions. Okay, and then register student, and there we see the breakdown. So if he would have had to pay 75,000, but he got 2,500 rand off. Now, if he had to have a bursary, then you'll see that. Okay. Anyway, so there it is. You should really clear. Maybe each time we register a student, we can actually clear the memo. So let's do that memo.clear before we register the student. In the register student click button when we do this, because that's where we're displaying everything. Register students where we're displaying everything. So we double click the button. We say memstudent.clear. That means it's going to be cleared each time. So that's cool. .clear. Alright, so there's your program, guys. Everything's fine, and I will give you an activity on Google Classroom, so look out for that. And then if you want to make another see it's cleared. Oh, it's just one issue there. No, you have to say new student. Most definitely. That one didn't really work, did it? No. Okay, but anyway, doing a dot clear. It's fine. Everything else is fine. Alright. Be safe out there, and I'll see you later.